Welcome to this week's CIOPCC tour. We're going to come around and go kind of the long way over this way. Today we're going to look at a favorite collection, which will have one must-see item in it at least, but it's going to be covering Star Trek. Now, this is a big license. There's been a billion things made based on it. I'm going to look at probably, again, 80% of my collection to give you some idea of what I have. And I'm going to start with the X06 6-scale stuff. Now, some of this is QMX. Those of you who know that some of these figures, especially the original series, other than Sulu and the Mirror Spock back there, and the movie versions of Kirk and Spock, the rest of them are from QMX. We're all hoping, of course, that X06 produces some of the original series soon, but as you can see, I've got some space open on the shelf for some more of them. And when we come around this side, we've got the next generation. The Q figure is fantastic, and of course, two versions of Picard. The one was the QMX. And Data. I'm also leaving some space over here. They're hitting every one of the series. So here we have their start with Voyager with some space. Captain Sisko all by himself, waiting for Quark and others. And two from Discovery down below. And again, a little space in the science fiction section for those guys. Sideshow did some work with Trek. And they did a series of busts, which are down here. And they did a nice job. I have to say that almost always the Sideshow busts for any license were nicely done. Sideshow also did, not quite as nice, the quarter scale Kirk, and it looks nothing like Kirk. But, you know, it's got the suit on, the uniform. And Mego, of course, did some in their 112 collection, focusing mostly on Spock, but we did get a Sulu and a Kirk as well before they quit. Now, Playmates is probably the best known, and they've done a billion figures. This entire 8-foot shelf with 3 shelves and a little space left because I might pick up some of the new Prodigy figures that Playmates is doing, is all Playmates 5-inch figures. Now, I did not collect a lot of this. What I did collect was the original series stuff that they did. Anything that you're seeing that was not original series in the Playmates line is probably been donated to me. I had a collector friend donate a massive Star Wars Playmates collection, or Star Trek Playmates collection. There's a tricorder and a Tribble. Also, there was, of course, the Playmates 12-inch figures. Not exactly X06 quality, but you know, they did quite a few, and they're still a lot of fun. And we had the 9-inch figures. Again, mostly I picked up, I didn't try to be a completist with these even back in the day. Mostly I picked up the original series. So that's what you're seeing, loose and boxed, mostly. There's a handful, and there's a couple more. I want to pick up a Janeway and a Sisko. This is one of those lines, if you want to get into something that's cheap still today, easy to come by, this is an excellent line, these 9-inch Playmates Star Trek figures. Still very easy to come by. All right, so let's go around to the other side. Past the Masters of the Universe. Come over here, and we've got some more Playmates. This is some box and carded stuff I put down on the bottom of the shelf. You'll notice there's Barclay. He was the third of those 1701 figures. They did 3,000 of him, maybe. They learned from their mistake, and they started producing some more. And then over on this side, we have a few other, the carded ones like the Redemption Data that I saved. Carded. The best carded one I kept, of course, is the 1701 Picard. I actually found that guy on the shelf at Toys R Us. I was shocked. And this final shelf of Trek has Mego, of course, and a lot of the Art Asylum figures. Mini-mates of both small and large variety. The Galileo is Playmates. The Star Trek, the big box in back there, that is the Ken they did in Barbie's line. And in the very back there, you'll see an MC Toys Salt Vampire and the Pike. I picked those up when they were first starting to make those, thinking I would add them in with my Megos, and then I wisely stopped just because I knew I would be buying way too much. And there we have a must-see. That's Gene Roddenberry, and if you're just thinking, I've never seen that action figure before, that's because it never did get produced. This is an unproduced prototype. Palisades had picked up the license to do Trek just before they went out of business, and this is one of the few figures that made it to a painted prototype stage. They were going to do a Gene Roddenberry. So that's pretty much it for Trek. Oh, let's just go up, shelf up. Not quite. I mean, I have some of the carded Art Asylum figures. These are the Wrath of Khan figures, really nice set. Along with the Mirror of Her, I kept carded. But for the most part, that covers my Trek collecting. If you have any questions, let me know. See you next week.